from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down
quit shouting.
Racing Reports.
Jeez. You sound so professional.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just making sure the mic works again. A couple of weeks ago it didn't work. So.
Yeah, that was almost a good thing.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Scott Hammer here along with Ron Miller. And in the studio with us tonight, we have a couple of Shipleys.
A pair
of Shipleys. A pair of late model drivers. Matt Shipley, Colin Shipley, and he's got a white box that I thought was donuts when he first got here, but apparently it's not.
And I gave it a quick sniff, and it's not pizza.
So suddenly my interest has gone down as far as what's in it. But
good luck getting invited back again, Shipley.
Right. We'll talk to Matt and Colin about their plans for this summer as far as racing, and what is inside the box is what we'll talk about too. I believe it has something to do with helping local racers market themselves.
Any racer.
Any race, okay. So it doesn't have to be, you could be a racer in Alaska.
Like even an old racer?
You could be a promoter. I don't know about old racers.
Be gentle.
Sorry, Ron. Guess that doesn't apply to you. Oh, geez.
Before you head off into that, congratulations on getting all those old audios up of...
Oh, the old motorsports talk.
Yeah, the old motorsports talk.
2004 and 2005.
If any of our listeners haven't picked those up, it initially Scott was just a board op, and then he got more and more involved with the show.
I don't remember much of that. I was like listening to that. I was like, I have no recollection of any of this.
Really? It was pretty good radio, and believe it or not, we were a very highly rated show on WTOD.
And there was something Charlie Crawl, who filled in for you last week.
Yeah, I caught that.
He likes himself a lot, and I appreciate him coming in and helping out with that. But he mentioned something on one of those old motorsports talks where you guys were on in Youngstown or something too. You had a whole network going on?
Well, we were, it was before Cumulus. I can't even remember who the parent company was, but we were rebroadcast in a couple of other areas. We were a big deal, man.
What happened then?
What happened was that the program director, who will be unnamed because I wasn't a big fan of his.
Okay.
Anyway, in his infinite wisdom, he decided that motorsports was not a viable sport and shouldn't be talked about in a sports.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And where is he now?
Not in radio, I believe.
No,
but
he's not.
Anyway, he decided that even Shores and Steel couldn't talk about NASCAR on Monday morning.
I didn't realize he had any pull over that, but
apparently
I can't tell that you're bitter or anything about that.
Yeah, well, we still could have been on WTOD instead of the palatial studio that we're in.
Well, they sold that frequency. I believe it's now like a religious station or something.
Yep.
So maybe you can talk to those folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you could just do this show.
And this is great.
Yeah. We have a lot more freedom. And it's worldwide.
That's
We're
right.
not limited to just a little coverage area of a radio
Toledo
station.
and Youngstown and wherever else.
There you go.
Might have been
Australia?
Nah.
Were you on in Australia?
I've been on in Australia.
Oh, I'm sure you have. Anyway, should we start the show?
Okay.
From the Ron Miller Race Car Studio.
Go for it, dude.
It's the Hammer Down Race Report. Show number 77 for Thursday, March 28th. The last show in March. It's going to be April next week.
The last show in the first quarter of 2019.
There you go. Again,
show number
77.
Oh, wow. I missed 76.
What are we going to do when we hit show 100? We should have like a big party or something.
Well, the confetti better come out of the cannons, and
that'll probably be toward the end of the season. Wait, that's like 33. How many weeks?
23.
Probably this fall.
Yeah.
Sometime this fall we'll have to
season wrap up.
Okay.
Everybody will be running their big shows, the big money shows, end of the season, and we'll be crowning track champions, and Hammer Down Racing Report will be 100.
There was talk, actually, that we may do an on-location Facebook Live broadcast at a particular racetrack this summer.
Really?
Yeah. And
Boy.
Robin came up with a pretty good idea of what race it might be,
That-
where we'd go out and do something the afternoon before the races.
Oh, okay. That'd be wonderful.
You know
because-
that one race where they open the gates at like 10 a.m. and there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of racers from all over the country that'll be at our disposal?
and fans all over the place.
I'm thinking that'll work out good.
Scott, something could happen there that probably has never happened to you. People could be asking for your autograph.
How do you know that's never happened to me? That actually has happened to me before, but not because of racing. That was because of my old show I used to do, my Hammer's House of Hair.
That's right.
Some kid, I was like, really? You want my autograph? Sure. There we go.
Yeah, but if we've got microphones in front of us,
That was you.
Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
You remember Hammer's House
I
of Hair?
do.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
That was me.
if you're into hair bands,
I was going to I have a whole bunch of old shows. I was going to put that up, but YouTube won't let me because of the copyright, because of the
Really?
music. Yeah. So I don't know what to do with them, really. I can't put them online because of all the stupid copyright rules and everything.
You could probably buy the copyright.
Yeah.
for next
You
to
know how much
nothing.
that is? You have to do that for every song. It's ridiculous.
Scott, I'll dig them up. Do you think there is any way you could convert mini cassettes to now we didn't have much in the way of recording, and we had a little mini recorder, and in the early days of Motorsports Talk, my lovely wife, sitting right over there, would put this mini recorder right in front of the radio and record us so I could see how we sounded later. So that would probably be back around 2000.
If you have a mini recorder to play things back and has some kind of output,
You know, I might be able to kick the dust off of it. I don't know.
I believe I have one of those.
do you?
Oh, that's dating you, buddy.
It is.
You don't look that old.
Back from the bomber days.
Yeah, yeah.
I have some videos still on that.
Woo, baby.
Yeah.
Make sure to visit hammerdownracing.report.com. Links to everywhere you can take in the Hammer Down Racing Report. And I added something new.
Did you?
Yeah, this is brand new news here. I haven't told anybody.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Doot, 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 doot. We are now available on Spotify
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
because that's where the kids are. So I figure we got to.
Excuse me?
That's where the kids are.
That's where I listen to all my music all day long at the shop.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, well, suddenly my son will stop using it now if he knows
That's
an old
it.
person's using it.
I can't do that. Geezers are listening.
That's right. Available on iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, iTunes, YouTube, and now Spotify. And, of course, Facebook Live.
About anything you want to listen to.
Pretty much. If there's something I'm missing, if there's another service
Another
out there
venue,
you
yeah.
want us to be on, let me know. I think I have most of the bases covered. But just in case, we'll look at it. Again, Matt Shipley, Colin Shipley here, putting up with us in the studio tonight. We'll be talking to them here in just a little bit. Thanks to Gary and Ryan from Fremont Speedway last week on the show, talking about the great season, and think they have a lot of things in the works
sounds
for
really aggressive,
this
you know?
year and beyond.
The big thing is that Forever came much quicker than we thought it was going to with their All-Star
With the All-Stars
show.
coming back, yeah.
That was amazing.
What do you think about not having the late models at Fremont? I know a few years ago you used to run with
I did. I
them.
ran a whole season over there.
Yeah.
And it's a fun track. It's a shame they couldn't make a go of it, especially with trying to get it to be an entry-level late model class. Kind of a crazy.
You're talking about the late models, not Fremont
Correct.
in general.
Right.
Okay.
the late models at Fremont.
Yep. Okay.
That's what we were talking about. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
For a
So
second
it's-
there, it sounded like you were saying it was a shame they couldn't make a go of it at Fremont. And I just wanted to make sure that our listeners weren't confused. The late model class was a crate late model, and it was a really good idea.
It was. It is.
And
Still.
somewhere it lost all of its glitz and glory.
Yeah, it just never really took off there.
Couldn't get enough competitors on a
Yeah.
weekly basis.
If you go down south a little bit, that class is booming.
Crazy.
It is.
They race for huge money down there.
With 602 crate motors.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same format that they had at Fremont.
Correct.
Give Ron Miller Race Cars a call, 734-856-7223. See that transition there?
Yeah, if you want to buy a crate motor for your late model, we can fix you right up.
Can you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
We could put a crate motor in your bomber, Scott.
Would it make it go faster?
Now, you've got one of those DAS engines, and they're bad fast.
Okay. I'm looking forward to hear what it sounds like again, since it's been refreshed. Give Ron a call, 734-856-7223. That's 856-RACE. Race cars, crate motors, parts, safety equipment, service, everything a racer needs. And he's available day or night. Free advice, too.
You didn't need to do that. We normally do that on the intro, but we've rambled way past that.
I'm trying to get back on track here.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Speaking of getting back on track, last weekend, the World of Outlaw Morton Buildings late models, Brandon Shepard extended his winning streak to 5 consecutive wins with his win at Duck River Raceway in Tennessee. I was down in Tennessee this past weekend, too.
I drove through there.
Jimmy Owens snapped Shepard's streak, though, on Saturday night with his win at Smoky Mountain Speedway. He led all 60 laps.
Did you see B-Shep fell back to second
in the points?
In that race.
Oh, in that? No, I didn't.
Oh, he drifted clear back to second.
6 straight wins or 5 straight wins, yeah.
Boy, that'd have to be disappointing.
Right.
The World of Outlaws off this weekend. They're back in action April 5th and 6th at Farmer City. In NASCAR news, Brad Keselowski dominated the Cup race at Martinsville on Sunday, leading 446 of the 500 laps. I listened to that driving back from Tennessee. I didn't get to see any of it.
I got back from our little road trip just in time to watch that, and boy, he really stunk up the show.
Okay, well, I guess I didn't miss much there. Kyle Busch picked up win number 201 in the truck race on Saturday. Texas Motor Speedway will host all 3 of the top NASCAR series, with the trucks Friday night, Xfinity Series on Saturday. Both those races will be on Fox Sports 1, and Sunday's Cup race will be at 3 on Fox and 103.7 CKY, which you can listen to on iHeartRadio, which I did all the way back from Tennessee.
Amazing.
Yes.
What's your take on the Kyle Busch, Richard Petty controversy?
Not really controversy.
Matt, what do you think? It is.
I don't really watch NASCAR too much.
They're flogging it to death, because Kyle Busch has done it in 3 different series, but Richard Petty did it when they ran half-mile dirt tracks and 60 races a year.
It'd almost be like saying you won 200 late model races and Matt won 200 races among compacts, bombers, sportsmen, and late models.
Yeah.
In some combination.
So
it's apples and oranges.
Yeah,
It's
Richard Petty won races back when they were running 60 races a year, and he elected to run, 62 races a year, and he elected to run 61 of them. I guess there was one race that he didn't go to. So, it's like you say, Scott, it's apples and oranges.
Okay. Thought I was going to get a history lesson there. Which race didn't he go to?
Beats me.
Oh, I thought you knew.
Might have been the one at Fonda, New York, little 5/8 mile fairground track. Right. Dirt.
Ricky Colton Herta became the youngest driver ever to win in IndyCar. He 18 years old, and I think it was like 356 days. Well, he's almost 19, but he is 18, and he got the win Sunday at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. That was just his 3rd race ever in the series. IndyCar heads to. Do you need to get that?
I hope not.
Okay,
because I'm not gonna.
IndyCar heads to Alabama for the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
Sounds like a urinary problem, Scott.
It was a good one. That's going to be on April 7th. I'm sorry, did we bore you?
No. We're back.
Okay. Atomic Speedway was in action this past weekend. A couple area drivers went down there and did pretty good, apparently.
Yeah.
Is that why you're wearing that shirt?
Well, that and Mr. Shipley has some connections with them, too. So
Rusty Schlenk picked up his first feature win of the season down at Atomic Speedway, and Chuck Hummer ended up finishing 11th down there. He had to transfer through the B main, I guess, and started at the tail.
Started at the tail, ran up to 2nd.
And he's running one of your crate motors.
Yes. Now he's running a 525. It's not the 602.
Okay.
I can sell you a 525 motor too if you want.
Which is faster?
Oh, the 525.
Why is the 525 faster than a 602? 602's got a bigger number. It sounds like that would be the better one.
Yeah, well, 602 is a part number, and the 525 is projected horsepower.
Kind of weird how they did that.
What's the projected horsepower of the 602 then?
350. 350 cube, 350 horsepower.
Oh yeah, I see why they went with 602 then.
Then there's a 604, which is 400 horsepower, and
oh my goodness, my brain's gonna explode. Jess Scott was also racing down at Atomic Speedway in his modified. He finished 6th in his feature.
who was running second when he spun out?
I don't know.
Really?
Why don't you tell me?
Oh, okay.
This is Dave Kemmer's notes.
Okay.
So he didn't tell me that part.
All right. 77-year-old.
Conley.
Yeah, Delmas Conley was running second. Kind of jumped the cushion. Car did an ugly little spin, and he just wasn't a factor after that. But he'd been really fast really early on.
Were you rooting for him because he's in your age bracket?
Bite me, Scott.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
No,
a buddy of yours?
I've raced with Delmas. Okay. We ran down Southern Ohio quite a bit a few years back, and really nice family. Delmas, Rod, RJ. Delmas owns a trucking company, and they're fun people.
Okay.
There was also a 12-year-old kid had a top 5 finish in B-Mod class down there, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah. Nick Snell.
Wow.
Ran top 5 in the feature.
12 years old.
12 years old. 12, might be 13. Pretty impressive.
Excuse me.
Well, I guess how old is Colin?
13.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Speaking of Colin, where did he go?
Make a phone call, I don't know.
Well, if he went out that door, he may not be able to get back in.
You probably alluded to Grand P and had to head down the hall.
Grand P. Oh yeah. Should have asked before we started. We can go check on him.
He's
a
a kid. He'll figure it out.
Okay.
Right.
There's people around. Yeah.
He's a teenager. They know everything.
So NASCAR announced on Tuesday their 2020 schedule.
Boy, that sure got shook up.
They just kind of there's a lot of big changes, but it's not the big changes that they've been talking about with like different tracks, because I guess the contracts still go through 2020, but I guess the bigger changes could be coming in 2021, because that's when the contracts are over with the tracks that they run now. So basically it's the same tracks, just jumbled order.
Have you ever been involved?
Does that make sense? Am I making sense there?
Have you ever been involved with the pill draw at Oakshade, where they put a bunch of numbers in a bag and draw them out? It's almost like that's what NASCAR did with this. They shook everything up, and here's Daytona. Yeah, well, we're going to take July 4th away from them, and
I think there was some reason to it, but then again, I don't know. But they changed the schedule. Hey, look, he did find his way back.
See, I told you.
Did you get locked out?
Yep.
So the biggest changes include, which I don't know, I think this is kind of cool. They're finally going to do a double header at Pocono at the end of June. You think that's going to work out? Those are kind of not the most exciting races, though. And they have two of them back to back, and I don't know.
That's kind of a weird deal, and they lose the opportunity to sell tickets for 2 events.
Yeah.
So
that's going to not be so great for Pocono, but maybe for everybody else it might be good. I don't know. The other big change that you alluded to, Indy is going to be taking over the usual...
No, IMS.
Isn't that what I said? No. Indy is taking over the July 4th weekend race from Daytona.
Oh, okay. I thought
Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
You're right.
Is going to be...
Because Phoenix is...
Yep, we're getting to that.
Next on your list.
We're getting to that. So that Daytona race, formerly the Firecracker 400, is going to move to late August and be the final race of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that switch. The other switch that you just mentioned, IMS, otherwise known as Phoenix, is going to now be the finale, the end of the season race, which will mean that Miami's race is going to move to March.
Right.
So
now, nothing better than to have your final race of the year on what NASCAR considers a short track, a 1-mile track.
What's wrong with that?
Oh,
Phoenix isn't my favorite, but I mean, I don't know.
Payback. That's all.
Okay.
There's 3 short tracks in the end of the chase too.
So there's that. Also, they announced that they tweaked their pole qualifying rules. because of that debacle at California a couple weeks ago, where nobody made a lap in the final qualifying session for the pole. And
well, they tried, but they just didn't quite make it.
And basically, my dad and I were talking about this, and basically they must have heard my dad talking, because they're like, if they don't make a lap, just tell them their time doesn't count and they go to the tail. And that's pretty much what they're going to do.
So
they have to make a lap.
So those 12 cars, if they don't make a lap, start behind.
They lose their time. They go to the back. Start
behind the other 36.
Correct.
Ooh.
And they have to. They can't block the end of pit road. So if they were kind of a little ambiguous about this rule, but if NASCAR deems that you're blocking the end of pit road or impeding another car from getting out, then they're going to penalize you. What that penalty is, it didn't say, but that may be putting you at the back as well.
That could be fun.
So, yeah. So they want to keep the group qualifying, and that's going to go into effect this weekend at Texas. So we'll see if that works.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody will figure a way around it. Those guys are pretty crafty.
The Xfinity Series was off this past weekend, so Christopher Bell went Power Eye Lucas Oil National Midget League Racing at Port City Raceway in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Same place that they have the Chili Bowl.
Right.
Except for not
this
the
is
same
outside.
place. Same town,
right.
Same city. And did you see the video of that finish?
I did not.
He was leading Christopher Bell,
right,
running the high side, running up along the wall, along the cushion, and Jonathan Beeson closed in late in the race, running the inside line, and they came off of turn number 4. Beeson had him. It was kind of a slide job coming off of 4, and he got up in front of him, but Christopher Bell didn't lift, and they ended up it's kind of that same deal that happened with Craig Mintz at Attica last year, where neither one of them lifted, and they came together, and Christopher Bell ended up rolling over, but he finished second. Jonathan Beeson won. It was a pretty exciting finish.
So they were upside down going across the finish line?
Christopher Bell was.
Yeah.
Beeson was able, he continued on, but yes, Christopher Bell, I think, ended up.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And Christopher Bell had no hard feelings, it sounded like. I guess he came up and congratulated him. So that was cool. And this is something I just found out. I did not know this even existed, but there's a new-ish series on Netflix called Formula One Drive to Survive. Have you heard of this? I guess it just came out earlier this month. You heard of this? You watch it? Is it any good?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. So supposedly, in one of the episodes, Tony Stewart brought his number 14 sprint car to Carolina Speedway and let Stewart-Haas Formula One racer Kevin Magnussen turn some laps in it.
Really?
Yeah.
On dirt?
On dirt.
And
he didn't wreck it, I guess. He got out and he said he needed a drink, or he said he needed something, but I haven't seen. Apparently, this is going to be on episode 9 of this show.
Okay.
So are all the episodes out? Can you watch them all
we
right
need
now?
to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Have you seen that episode?
I just kind of skipped through them.
And where is it again, Scott?
Netflix.
Okay.
I guess I could look it up. I have Netflix. I'll have to check that out. So there's that. Something to look forward to. So that's all the news that I have for this week. I think that's plenty, though.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Show's over. Let's go home, folks. Coming up a little bit later, we'll have our weekend weather pit stop with Ryan Weekman from WTOL. About the only action going on this weekend is scheduled for Attica. And let's just say, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
It's not an exciting forecast from Ryan, but we'll get to that after we talk to Matt and Colin. And before we get to whatever's in the box,
Killing you, isn't it?
Mystery box.
a little bit, a little worried. Want to talk to you guys about what's your plans for racing this summer?
What's your plans?
Race as much as I can.
What are you going to race?
Hopefully late models.
Where?
Everywhere.
Okay. You're not going to run any particular series or anything?
Hopefully I can run Oakshade, go for Rookie of the Year there.
Okay. It's a pretty... I don't know who else would be running for rookie. Do you know who else might be running for rookie of the year there?
I'm not sure if Jacob Van de Voorde will be.
Okay.
He's sportsman or late model. He's on the line.
Did he run a number 9?
I believe so.
Did pretty well last year.
Yeah. I remember,
First year.
Remember the car? I wasn't sure if it was a late model or sportsman. It was a sportsman he was running last year. Okay.
Now, I know you'll be running a late model. Tell us a little bit about the car.
It's gonna be
Pull that mic closer to you. There you go.
It's gonna be a Rayburn with a 604 engine.
Great engine, like we were talking
604.
That's it.
I know what that means now.
Yeah,
Turn this a little bit.
It's not quite a 5.
25.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's not a 604.
It's not a 602.
No, it is a 602.
No, it's a
604.
604.
Oh, you're 604? Oh, so you're getting the big horsepower.
Yep.
Now, you started out with a 602, didn't you?
604.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And a
We were-
497 plus 623. Just because I want to throw out more numbers and confuse people more.
Just for your edification, Scott, the 604 is pretty similar to a 602, except that it has aluminum heads.
And it's 2 numbers higher.
That's right.
Okay.
And,
About
50 horsepower.
more horse.
So is your car all ready?
Just needs a wrap.
Okay.
That's it.
When do you anticipate your first race? And where?
Hopefully
This
2
weekend at Attica?
I wish.
Not this weekend.
Next
Obviously, the
weekend?
forecast isn't looking well.
Hey, that spoiler alert.
But I think the following weekend, he's going to help me at Attica Friday, and then we're going to take him to Florence to run with the crates down there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I drove right by Florence.
Florence, y'all.
Yeah, that's
Me
what
too.
I saw.
And you have to say it every time you see that.
I did.
Go
I
ahead.
was like, I've seen that on Facebook. Florence, y'all. Yeah.
Right.
So what's up with Matt Shipley? Are you going to be running this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my car is almost done as well. I'm thinking that I'm going to run ALMS this year.
You ran the ethanol tour, didn't you, last year?
I ran part of it last year. I ran the full tour the year before. And I love the tour. It's a great tour. But it's a little grueling this year. It's 24 races. I'm just not equipped to run that kind of tour anymore.
I heard
know?
they'd reached out to you and encouraging you to
we've
join them.
We've had some discussions. It's just not in the cards for me this year, I don't think. And I'll still run some of the races, some of the closer ones.
Sure.
I-96 and Attica and maybe a few others. We'll see.
Illinois is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, although I really do want to go to LaSalle.
Yeah.
Really do want to. But we'll see. We have a baby on the way, so that may dampen the racing slightly.
Really?
Slightly. They just don't make car seats for these things yet.
They should make racing
I-
seats for babies.
I almost remember telling my wife not to have the kid till I got home from racing.
Right. Right.
Is that a possibility, Mom? Yeah.
Did she listen?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Good job. So is your car ready then?
Just about. A few minor things. Smashing springs, finished hood, filler, some slight suspension changes.
So when do you anticipate your first race?
Next Friday.
Attica?
Tell us a little bit about your car.
It's another Rayburn by RSR.
Uh-huh.
It is originally built Pro Power engine in it, 424 wide bore. Doug Hess has been doing all the work to it past couple of years. Does a great job. Reasonably priced. Makes a lot of power. Rusty and the crew over at RSR has been working countlessly to try to get this thing to my likings. Wasn't real happy with the way it drove last year. He was winning with the way it drove, so it was hard for him to try to adapt it to me when it was working for him.
Well, I saw a video of the race last weekend down at Atomic, and Rusty's car looked a little tight getting into the corner, but he was an absolute rocket ship off. So, and being the talented driver that he is, Rusty drove right around that little issue, and
Right. And he can do that.
yeah,
But a guy like
us,
me,
us lesser mortals,
I need
mortals.
that car to turn right in there and follow that path around there
Yeah,
for me. and that's, he's been testing this new setup and some changes he's made. So he's fine tuning it. Looked pretty good last weekend. So hopefully that works out.
Now, when you were running with the crates at Fremont, what crate motor were you running there? Since I know more about crate motors.
That
now.
was a 602.
Okay.
So that was the
by
all steel.
their rule.
And you were you ran that at Oakshade when you had that, right?
I ran it a few times at Oakshade.
And you were pretty competitive even with the 602.
Yeah, I was. I think I had a top 10 in an ALMS race
Yeah.
at Oakshade with it.
I thought I remember you did pretty good with that.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, we made the shows. That's all I was hoping to do with it. You know,
Okay.
you just hold it on the floor and drive around in circles.
And any tracks you plan to hit regularly this summer, or just
You
kind
know,
of
Oakshade's always our hometown track. You know, we're going to try to get him as many laps as we can this year. So,
Have you guys raced against each other yet?
Yes. In
His-
heat races. My first
his-
heat race had him, Matt Miller, Rusty, and who else was in it? Is
Devin Shields.
Devin, and then there
That's
was
a pretty stacked race.
Yeah, and there was
first heat
two
race.
other guys. I think.
Did you beat any of them?
I think I got second to last.
All right. That's all right. That's all
Beat
right.
one.
I mean, with those drivers,
Right.
who
But
did
he-
you remember who you finished ahead of?
Who was it? Was it Warnick?
I don't know. No, I don't think
it
so.
was. No.
But he
Huh.
ended up driving around some cars in the B main, so he was getting the hang of it. It was only a second race.
Okay. Have you ever beat him or finished ahead of him yet?
Only in go karts.
Okay.
I don't recall that. Ever.
It's all right. I don't recall any of that motorsports talk stuff either. I vaguely do, but I don't. I just,
Yeah, well,
okay.
it happens.
Sure. And any you're going for Rookie of the Year at Oakshade. Any track championships that you're eyeing?
Well, I think I'm going to try to run for an ALMS championship.
Okay.
You know, like I was saying,
Was
I think
Noonan the champion last year?
Noonan won it last year. It's only 12 races, something a little more to my budget, and
And you still
my
have to
free
take care
time.
of business too.
Sure. So, and it'll allow me to get him to more races, and
You'll be down at Eldora for the opener.
and
then,
I'm
right?
excited to run Eldora. That's a bucket list track.
You haven't run Eldora
Never
before?
ran there. No.
Really?
So I'm excited about that.
I haven't run there either. It looks fun from what I've
It's
seen.
fun.
Yeah. So
Everybody
that's cool.
says it's the easiest track to drive,
It's like Finley, only
hardest
just
track to go fast.
it's just like Finley, only a little bigger.
Right.
Just a little bigger, huh?
Not much.
Okay. So you actually mentioned the last couple weeks ago, actually. I think it was the car show at the Woodland Mall that you had something that you wanted to talk about.
I do.
Floor is yours. What do we got
Excited
going
to
on?
share.
It's
Have
now
you
it's
ever
now a
met
Matt
a
Shipley
racer that's
infomercial.
not trying to improve the race program? Have you ever met a racer not trying to improve the race program?
He's just happy to be there.
I'm just
but
happy to go out and
You just
make
Run
the car
around.
go
just
around
put
the
it in the
circle.
garage and say, you know what, we were good enough. We'll get it out next year.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So there are those people, but
We
you
do
know,
exist.
as we all know. I mean, most of us are limited to our budget on how much we can improve our race program. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody spends as much as they can possibly afford, and if somebody throws a little more money in their bucket, they could maybe
Sure.
go better.
Sure.
That's what
Yeah.
you always say. It's speed costs
Less
money, how fast you want to
wanna
go.
Exactly.
And it's not only important for the racer, but as the entire racing community economics. I mean, it's think of it as its own economy. You know, our racing community. The more money every racer brings in, the more money is funneled throughout different tracks, and
The more money they can spend at Ron Miller race cars.
exactly, it helps out.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely. No,
Trickle down theory.
Right, sure. It's its own economy, so it's extremely important.
And that economy's been kind of hurting in recent years, especially after like 2008 when the economy went to crap
Right,
anyways,
right.
and then the car counts kind of went down. So I
You
don't know.
People say that, but I mean, I see more and more big money races. Is it
That
getting
seems-
more
it's-
funneled to that
it seems
instead
like
of your
there-
local stuff?
There's less weekly tracks and more like Mansfield where they just run
Right.
the special events.
I mean, there's a 50,000 to win crate race this year. Just
Yeah.
unreal. I mean, so I think that money's still there. You know, the people must be watching it if they can afford to pay that.
And most of those races are not inexpensive, just even to get into the grandstands.
Right. So people are willing to watch. But I always see these blasts out on Facebook of people saying, I have spots on my car available and who would like to sponsor me? And it drives me nuts.
That doesn't get you anything.
It does not work. Does not work.
What are you talking about?
Work a few more hours overtime and you'll be better off.
Well, not only that, I feel like it diminishes the value of the product we actually have. We have a good product. If you do your homework, if you price out what it costs to advertise on the radio or advertise on TV and how many viewers or how many listeners you have, and actually look to see how many people your car is in front of, or your social networks are reaching.
Well, and that was one of the things that we used to talk about back in the day of open trailers, all the thousands of people that see that. So, yeah, it works.
So we have a valuable product here.
Boy, I hope that was your chair, Scott.
It was the microphone. I was just
Okay,
getting comfortable.
all right.
So anyway,
It didn't sound real comfortable from here.
I just feel like we have a valuable product, and if you push it,
Yeah.
you can make it work. I mean, it gets us out of our comfort zone, trying to sell, like you said
And that's
earlier.
something I've always wondered was, what is the value of, putting some stickers on my car? And then I got to the point where I feel like if somebody has a sticker on my car, other than you, then I feel like I owe them something, like if I get wrecked in the first week and, I don't have money to fix my car, I feel like if I have a sponsor who expects me to be representing him for the whole season, I got to figure out a way to get that car back together and get back out.
And there is an obligation, unless it's, you've worked that out beforehand, but there is an obligation to do what you tell him that you're going to do.
And usually I'll go to Ron and it's like, yeah, I messed up my car, and he fixes it and I'm back out anyway.
Right,
So.
right.
Yep. Another one of my kids,
Right. So anyway, I came across this great product from Winning Motorsports Marketing. It has helped me tremendously. A lot of great knowledge in there.
Is that a box of knowledge?
It is a box of knowledge. So this program, it's an online program, has a bunch of different modules, comes with a workbook, and it's Holly Henry and Kate Dillon from Crate Insider. Mm-hmm. You guys know her. They put this all together. It's $197. But not only do you get knowledge that has helped, you get a hat.
Oh, right there. That's
all
worth
right.
that.
So you got a hat from Crate Insider. You get a T-shirt from Crate Insider. So we're talking, what, $30 value there?
All for $197.
All for $197. You get a $100 certificate to her store.
I'm not familiar with Crate Insider. What's
It's an online store, mainly for crate cars,
Okay.
and such, for parts and
just motor parts,
tech
or
tips,
to get everything?
chassis, motor, all sorts of stuff.
So a competitor to Ron,
Similar, yeah,
Okay.
kind of. Yeah.
minus the motor part.
Right. You actually get you can apply for a $250 sponsor from Profab Headers. Daytona 1, I believe that's a $50 gift certificate. And then Speedway Car Cams also gives you 2 free in-car camera editings, where if you're near them, they can put the cameras in your car and edit the film and put it together for you, or you can send them your videos.
How much do they charge regularly for that?
I don't know for sure, but there's well over $200.
That's my neighborhood. I do that stuff.
Right.
I just want to know how much I should be charging.
So just my point of showing you all that is there's well over $200 worth of sponsors in the box, plus all the knowledge you get.
And a hat.
And a hat and a shirt.
It's a cool hat.
And it's a really cool hat.
So what? I mean, without giving away the actual knowledge, but I mean, what is some of the
Talks about
Is this on all? You just get a workbook, or is this all online, or
it's
both?
Online. There's different modules, so you can go through each module, and then you can kind of fill out the workbook as you go through it. But they talk about how to approach sponsors, what sponsors to approach, or partners. I like to say partners. Sponsors sounds one-sided to me. But they
That's
just go over.
That's why we don't call our salespeople. They're account executives.
Right.
So you're saying that a multicolor brochure sent off to Jack Daniels probably wouldn't net you anything at all?
It's hard saying, but I know this has worked for us.
Right.
So it's kind of like a sales training program for racers who really don't know that much
Sure.
about marketing.
Just because, we know how to make our race cars go fast, but this aspect, which is probably the most important aspect of improving our race teams.
And I've been involved in racing a lot of years, and it's very, very difficult.
Right. And it gets you out of your comfort zone. This kind of coaches you through that and how to present yourself and, shows that you really do have a valuable product. So I really wanted to share that. It's helped me. We've picked up 3 new sponsors.
I was going to ask how it's worked for you.
In fact,
How long have you been part of this?
I bought this.
Is it a one-time thing? You buy it and then...
No, actually, once you purchase this, then you can join a closed group where they do continuous updates and so on and so forth if you have questions. So it's a forever deal of continuing education.
If you want to grab a pencil and paper, Matt will give you that information here in just a second. Again.
Sure. Winning Motorsports Marketing.
Now, how would they find these folks online or?
Yeah, you can find them
Facebook
online or look up crateinsider.com. You can contact Kate Dillon there to get it from her, or I can share it on my Facebook page as well.
Could it be on Colin's Facebook page too?
We could have him share it as well.
Really?
Now, are you allowed to share that knowledge with him? Is it or is it just for you?
Well, what I know is what he knows.
Okay,
so
I gotcha.
It all goes hand in hand, yeah.
Did he go through any of the modules too, so he can present himself to a prospective sponsor?
No, but he did. He did ride along with me with our meetings with sponsors.
Very good.
We were able to partner up with Jim White Honda. Very happy to have them on board this year. Rick's Truck and Equipment Sales in Kenton, Ohio. Excited to have them. Great place for tow trucks and equipment and such. And then Dominator Racing Products.
Good people there.
Excellent. So it's a success story. I know it works. And I wanted to share it with everybody. Going back to the point where even if you get sponsors, that still helps all of us. It helps the whole racing community.
Yeah, you could start paying your bill.
When you're done.
Right.
You do a good job
Thanks.
on the parts.
Give Ron Miller Race Cars a call. So who would you recommend this for? I mean, you talked about the crate aspect of it, but you say this is for anybody?
It's for anybody. I mean, even if you're a track promoter.
It would help them to
they're
get
looking
sponsors?
for sponsors for their track as well.
Okay.
Or even a podcast that they need sponsors for. It's just about marketing yourself. It's geared toward racers. There's interviews with different people in the industry. Ben from Dirt on Dirt's interviewed on there. And back to Dirt on Dirt, if you're being aired on one of their videos, you're in front of hundreds of thousands of people. There's hundreds of thousands of people that view that.
And it's not just a one-time deal with them
Right.
either, because they're archived and people are watching
Sure.
their programs
Sure.
for a long time.
So think about how much these companies would have to spend to get heard or seen in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
And a lot of times they're targeted sponsors too,
Sure.
who would have a connection with motorsports. like a Honda dealership or
Sure.
like a company that produces plastic parts for race cars.
Sure. But also people outside of the sport. It's a great avenue for advertising.
Sure.
And it can be fun and interactive for owners or managers or whoever. Get them out to the races, and it's something different than just seeing yourself on TV, or you can interact with the race teams, and just really excited because it has worked for us, and I wanted to share it with everyone.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So how much more? When did you say you started this?
I purchased the program, I think it was 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Okay, so this is fairly recent then.
Yeah.
And just in that 5 or 6 weeks, you've locked in more sponsorship than you've had in the past?
More sponsors than I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
fact,
then that the
not
sponsors you got have paid for that already then.
Yeah.
And once
Several times
once
over.
again, they can contact them if they want to go direct Crate Insider,
It's Winning Motorsports Marketing,
right?
but one of the directors is Kate Dillon from Crate Insider.
Okay.
So you can contact her, and you can purchase it online. I think you can purchase it right through crateinsider.com.
Okay.
And also I'll share it on my Facebook. And
So does that like go through all the steps of, how to first approach a prospective advertiser, what that first contact should be
Sure.
and how to follow up and all
Sure.
that stuff? Okay.
Sure. How to present yourself, and
Dress appropriately.
sure. Yeah.
Don't show up wearing your torn jeans that are all covered with grease and grease on your face.
Right.
That's a freebie. Everybody, that's a freebie.
But it also, without divulging too much, stay within your comfort zone to an extent, and still be who you are. Someone I think does a really, really good job of this locally here is Ryan Missler.
Ryan does a great job.
He does a really good job outside
his,
the box with
videos?
his 50Y inner circle. I was looking at the prices and how many people he has. He's raising some good money to do that, and he's getting people involved. I think it's a really good thing that he does. I might have to steal that.
Yeah, and when Ryan Missler comes to Hammer Down, he brings donuts.
And T-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Just FYI. Just saying.
Donuts are a big deal.
Well,
here. Donuts
now
are
that
a
There was
big deal
cookies. It
here.
was.
Yeah, that's true. And
Now that-
cupcakes.
Yes.
That's right. Well, he has
The
sweets factory. That's
Yeah.
not fair.
Yeah, but pizza, donuts, we don't care.
You have to go to the Ron Miller School of Marketing.
I guess. See, now I just learned something to add.
Now, does that program give advice as to how to nurture your current sponsors? Like going on shows like this and making sure to mention them,
Sure.
how to mention them, and all that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people, even in Victory Lane, when I'm interviewing people, they're like, yeah, let me look at my car. I forgot this one and this one.
Yeah, that's a big no-no if you can't remember your sponsors. I can understand if you don't win very often and
you're excited anyway.
You
so,
you can't even,
you're not
you don't know
thinking.
what to say anyway. But,
Yeah.
when you win all the time and you have to go look at your car and read them off, that's probably not good.
So like when
I saw that happen last weekend.
Write 'em on your hand.
There is someone that has so many on their car that I wouldn't be able to remember them either. But
is there any advice as to how many is too many sponsors? Is there like a limit that they recommend, or is it just?
I don't recall hearing a
Okay.
limit. No. I guess that's
You only have so much
per
space on your
person.
car too.
Right,
So
right. And you don't want to overpromise and under-deliver.
Yeah.
Do they tell you how much is too much, or they don't go there?
No, and you really, they don't talk about dollars.
Right.
You really have to create your own value.
Well, and obviously someone with an Indy car would be asking for a whole lot more than a street stock at
Sure,
Flat Rock or
Sure.
Toledo. Yeah.
sure. And we're not out there winning every race and Penske's not throwing shocks at us, and VP's not throwing fuel at us.
Not yet.
You know,
They should be.
Yeah.
we created our value by selling us. You know, we're selling the family racing.
You're not selling you.
Deal.
You're selling an audience. That's what our salespeople in radio, they're not selling radio. They're selling an audience. They're delivering an audience to you.
Right.
You're delivering eyeballs to your client, to your advertiser, your sponsors.
Sure. Yeah,
Another freebie. That's a freebie for me.
I like that.
That's the extent of my knowledge. So once again, what's the name of this again?
Winning Motorsports Marketing.
I figure people have a pencil by now. They can write that down.
Should.
And they can just search that and get in contact with them.
I don't think I have a phone number here.
It's probably on the packet inside.
Oh.
Papers.
Could probably look in there.
Once again, teenager comes through, right?
Yeah, I started typing winning motor and it's filled in the rest of it. winningmotorsportsmarketing.com.
Perfect. That'll work.
There you go. And they also have a Facebook page. So if you're interested, again, how much is that?
$197.
And that's just a one-time thing.
One-time fee.
And after that, you're part of the club.
After that, you're educated
And part of the club.
and part of the club.
Do you know what? How did you come across this?
Um,
Did somebody bring that to your
I
attention?
think I was
or-
watching one of her podcasts and mentioned it, and it gets
There you
me
go.
out of my comfort zone.
Podcasts can sell things.
She must be on iHeartMedia right after Hammer Down
Yes. Let's be
Racing Report.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just kind of piqued your interest and was
It
like,
did.
Okay.
You know, it helped.
Well, we'll be
You know,
sending.
it was an area that we were lacking in, you know, and I may have a unique perspective because I'm on both sides. I have people asking me for sponsorship all the time.
Because you got the shop down in BG.
Right.
You want to plug that? Go ahead.
Shipley Automotive, Bowling Green, Ohio.
Replaced the engine in my truck years ago. It still works, so.
So I get it all the time, and, you know, we're still out trying to get sponsors for our race program. You know, despite popular belief, not all small businesses are rich. Right, Ron?
Yeah, buddy.
You have at least your shop on there, don't you?
On the race car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have Shipley Auto and Towing on there.
Are you your own main sponsor?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
What about on your car? What's on your car?
Everything that's on his car.
Okay. All right.
So,
So,
if a sponsor signs on, it's a twofer deal.
It is.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
and then
Plus-
if you wreck something, do you take his car then?
Maybe.
No.
Not supposed to.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't know if both cars were at the track at the same time.
You know, we were able to market both of our cars together. So we felt like it added some
Added value.
value.
Absolutely.
You know, we own dirt late model simulators as well. So I was able to throw that into the mix. You know, and along with a few other things, things that we can provide. And, I think everybody should kind of do their own thing there, but it worked out. I got a pile of tires coming to start the season, so we're excited about that.
And you've only been implementing this the past 5 or 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're saying it works.
It does work.
I hope they're paying you
I hope they do after this.
as a
Yeah.
spokesperson.
Hope they're
I hope,
listening.
I hope we just landed another sponsor.
Another sponsor. There
Yeah.
you go. Well, that makes sense. If
But in a
people-
way, they already are.
okay. Well, if they had
Because
your,
you got more than your $197
Right.
of value.
Correct.
but they could get more value if they had their website URL on your car.
Correct. A lot more value.
Yeah. A lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, and obviously Matt and Colin are frequent flyers on Hammer Down Racing Reports, so they could get that could be a big deal.
Sure.
You were back when we first started back in the Ron Miller Race Car Studio B,
That's right.
the old studio,
Yeah, we've really improved.
before we got big time. So.
Now, if you remember, we were talking about crate racing then.
I do vaguely remember that, yeah. And next week's guest, I didn't even remember we had on the show because it was a call-in, but Chad Wilson's going to be on the show. Sprint car driver Chad Wilson next week.
I knew
he was
that.
on the second episode of Hammer Down Racing Report.
Wow, 75 shows back.
6, 5. Yeah. Yes. What
Thank you.
Said. My math is off. Is math a requirement for this?
No.
Okay.
As long as you can count laps, you're safe.
Okay. Well, Matt, thank you for bringing that, the program that's worked for you.
Thanks for having us. I hope it helps others.
We'll see. And again, if people are interested, winningmotorsportsmarketing.com.
And if you do buy the program, let us know how it works for you.
Yeah.
Please do.
We'd really like to know, and we can certainly pass it on to Matt
And
Colin.
And Hammer Down Racing Report will not sponsor your car, so don't please come and ask me. We make $0.
Neither will Shipley Automotive.
There you go.
It's already sponsoring.
So we're
too.
helping you out already with your marketing, with narrowing it down.
Well, and Ron Miller Race Cars, same deal.
If you want to put Hammer Down Racing Report on your car, by all means, go for it.
We'd like it.
Yeah. You got to pay for the sticker or write it on there. I don't care.
I don't know about you, but we try to give racers the absolute best deal we can, and sometimes that means we struggle a little. But,
Sure.
And I'm sure you're that way with some of the racers that come in your door.
Sure. And I have sponsored some racers.
You
in
do
the
as
past.
much for them as you possibly can, but
Sure.
yeah, it's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is a community.
That it is.
All right. Let's talk about some upcoming. Well, before we do that, let's. How about we check out Ryan Weekman's first ever weekend weather pit stop of 2019.
You okay?
Should we do that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
This is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. Only race on the slate down in Attica Friday. Look for rain showers early in the day. It's likely we're going to get a break in those showers, at least for a little while during the day, but a lake breeze is going to kick up. It's going to be a chilly evening, to say the least. Rain, and it looks very possible for race time. If things get pushed back to Saturday, that looks like an absolute soaker as well, especially during the daylight hours for Saturday. Rain may try to push out by late in the day, but it will be another day with a very chilly early spring breeze. We're going to look forward to some warmer racing weekend days ahead. This has been your weekend weather pit stop forecast. Be sure to download that free First Alert weather app. Get exclusive updates from us here in the First Alert Weather Center. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
So, as of our taping time, Attica is still scheduled to run Friday night. So we'll see
Yeah.
how the weather works out. Any updates, we'll post it for you on Hammer Down Race Report Facebook page.
Or listen to Ryan Weekman and make your make your own decision.
Either way, if you do go, dress warm. It's supposed to get cold this weekend. It kind of sucks.
Forget about the Thaw Brawl this weekend.
Oh, yeah. That's the American Ethanol. Wait,
It is American Ethanol now.
didn't they? I thought that they moved that already.
They
Saturday,
moved
Sunday.
it to Saturday, Sunday.
Is that okay?
Instead of Friday, Saturday.
That's what it was. I saw something where they
Right.
moved it. Okay. And that's at
LaSalle,
LaSalle, Illinois.
The rain may push through there a little
Yeah.
earlier. Obviously, if you're thinking about going,
As long as they can get the track dry, because I'm sure
Right.
there's going to be rain there sometime between now and then. So we shall see. But Attica Raceway scheduled to try and kick off their season once again tomorrow night, which will be Friday night. Fisher Performance Construction Equipment and Supply Advanced Drainage Systems night. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. Is that too many sponsors for a
No.
night? Okay.
There's never too many
All right.
sponsors.
Just thought I'd ask.
And I'm not an expert.
I know.
I didn't make the program.
I gotcha.
but you are now a trained
Yes,
professional.
You are a
I'm
trained
educated
professional.
now.
Okay. 410 sprints, late models, and 305s. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45 at Attica, and there's a rain date of Saturday. But that doesn't. If they don't get it in Friday, it's probably not going to happen Saturday based on the forecast. I'm just guessing, but just keep an eye on their Facebook, our Facebook, or check before you leave. Waynesfield season opener coming up on Saturday, April 7th with the Fast 410 sprints. That's a 4,000 to win show, and the NRA Sprint Invaders. Waynesfield, another track that was a weekly, and are switching to just special events this year. Not so much because of the lack of interest there, but because the owner, I guess, getting up there in age and just couldn't do it so much anymore. Fremont Speedway is going to get things going on Saturday, April 13th, 410 and 305's Attica Fremont Championship Series sprints. And the trucks also in action. That's Union Trades Community Night. Gates open to 4, racing 7, general admission $15. And again, that is the first, I believe, the Attica Fremont Championship Series, the brand new series that Dwayne Hancock's been working on. They have a pretty big point fund for that too.
They do. That's a big deal.
So, and Chad insisted that Chad Wilson, who's going to be our guest next week, sprint car racer, insisted that we bring Dwayne back in as well.
I wonder why that is.
Well, Dwayne says because he's probably going to ask him to go to the casino afterwards.
I understand.
And he will. Sandusky Speedway is going to get things going with their all jacked up weekend that same weekend, Saturday, April 13th and Sunday, April 14th with the Lake Erie Stock Series on Saturday and then a 200-lap Enduro on Sunday. More information on all that's at SanduskySpeedway.com. Toledo Speedway kicks things off on Saturday, April 20th with the Ross Mortgage Spring 200 presented by PNC Bank. It's going to feature ARCA Late Model Gold Cup Series going 100 laps, the ARCA CRA Super Series Late Models 100 laps as well. Racing schedule start at 3 o'clock for that. Oakshade will kick things off with the Bill Reckner Memorial on Saturday, April 27th, featuring UMP Sportsmen, Bombers, and Compacts. Gates open before racing at 7.
Now, hanging on. For Oakshade, almost always there's a handful of late models. So if you're strictly a late model fan, don't just write that one off because there's a lot of late models there.
Is there going to be a 35 late model there?
Maybe.
Okay.
Probably.
Just going to do some hot laps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually there's quite a few hot lap sessions or quite a bit of time for hot laps after the show. So it could be a fun night. And if you're a big late model fan, don't just write that one off.
Okay. Sounds like you may be
Good to know.
Sounds like you may be trying to get somebody's ear there with a little extra track time, possibly.
You know, in the past, a couple of fans have actually taken up a collection.
Didn't we run like one weird little
and put on a little
race?
race?
Or something?
Yeah.
I thought we did that one here. It's not on the calendar, so don't go there expecting that's going to be there. It may happen, but that's not official.
It's not part of the official program.
Yeah, late models will debut the following week at Oakshade Raceway. If you do want late models, though, the Eldora Speedway will be having the first American Late Model Series event, $5,000 to win. That's the same night, Saturday, April 27th, 66 season opener. They'll also have NRA Sprint Invaders, Dirt Car Modifieds, and the Eldora Stocks. Tickets, $19 for that. Reserve tickets, $24 available. So there's that. Flat Rock Speedway kicks things off on Sunday afternoon, April 28th, with the Motor City 200. CRA Jegs Series Late Models going 100 laps. The brand new series for the younger drivers, the CRA Junior Late Models, will be going 25 laps. And the iCar All-Star Modifieds, we had
Scott Schultz.
And Tyler Perry a few weeks ago talking about that when Dwayne was here, as a matter of fact. They're going to be running 75 laps, and all those laps add up to 200. Racing will start at 2 p.m. That is Sunday, April 27th at Flat Rock Speedway. And then Lima Land Motorsports Park will be the last in the area to get things going, not including Mansfield, who only runs special events. Their season opening shootout will be Friday, May 3rd, talking about Lima Land, with NRA Sprints, Modifieds, and Stocks. Pits will open at 4:30, grandstands open at 5, and racing starts at 7:30. That's what's coming up.
And it's really not that far away, Scott.
No, we're just around the corner from racing season. Hopefully, maybe it'll start Friday night, maybe.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Next week is the Mud Hens home opener, as a matter of fact. Just FYI, when you come here for next Thursday's show. Parking's going to be a little tight, but just tell Eric that you're here for the show, and maybe you may want to give yourself a little extra time to get here.
Oh, absolutely,
because it'll be crazy. Hopefully, it won't be cold and rainy.
When's the Tigers opener? Do you have any idea?
I'm not a baseball fan. I only know about the Mud Hens opener because it messes up our parking here because they sell the parking lot, and I got to go out and do other things because it's a big thing for the radio stations.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So proud.
Usually Rick and I from the river.
Yeah.
Morning guy over the river. We go out and he plays player or street. And he basically gives them a name like Palmer. Is that a street in Toledo or is that a player?
Oh,
And he goes and we go interview a bunch of drunk people and play the game. He's got a bunch of prizes. I get the video of that.
you just wander up and down the
Just
sidewalks?
at the parking lot, everybody's kind of hanging out, tailgating.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he usually goes for the ones that have some nicer looking women with them.
Of course. Now, do they tailgate in our parking lot here?
Later in the day they do. Usually we go out earlier in the morning for
Okay.
that, and they're usually tailgating over by Tony Pacco's and
Okay.
just across from the ballpark. So, anyways, that really has absolutely nothing to do with this, but sometimes we get off track just a little bit. It's like when we went over the turns 1 and 2, the hill there.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
nobody saw us.
exciting.
Nobody saw us, and they didn't throw the yellow. So, thanks to Dave Kemmer for helping with the prep and booking. Again, next week on the show, we're going to have Chad Wilson and Dwayne Hancock. 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to get Chris Mize back in the studio from Sandusky Speedway. Talk about their opener. They've had quite a few developments in the past month or so.
Yeah,
with
they
their
have.
schedule. So.
And he's always interesting.
He is very interesting, yes. Looking forward to that. Make sure to tune in again next week. Facebook Live, 7 o'clock, Thursday night. Also catch us on YouTube, iTunes, pretty much everywhere. And now Spotify.
iHeartMedia.
Now on
Spotify,
Spotify.
yeah.
iHeartRadio, yes. iHeartRadio is your preferred means to listen to the show because we get credit for that. So, but you don't have to. I'm not tying anybody's hands to that. Make sure to visit hammerdownracingreport.com if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show. It's pretty much like putting a thing on Facebook saying, hey, I got space on my car.
Not so much. That's
A little bit.
Good.
I got my contact information. Actually, we have packages on there, too. There's some
Speaking of
packages.
iHeartMedia, or I'm sorry, HammerdownRacing.com.
I haven't updated it in a little while.
Yeah, we sell a lot of swag there, and are really nice looking Hammer Down T-shirts.
We do sell a lot of swag there?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there is a lot available. I don't know if we actually sell a lot of it, but there's a lot of different things.
There is a
available.
guy working at Ron Miller Race Cars that says you're not getting your car back until he gets a 3X T-shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to.
He said you've been warned about that in the past, but
Well, I didn't realize he did the work.
he's pretty adamant about it.
All right, we'll have to talk about that. If you're interested in being a sponsor, you can also email us, scotthammer@iheartmedia.com. And if you have any show ideas or just want to shoot the crap, email me, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're done. Should we call it a show?
I think we should.
Okay.
Thanks for
And
having
thanks-
us, guys.
Thanks,
Well,
to the
thanks for being
Shipleys.
here.
Yeah, look forward.
And we got to remember that next race you got to win.
Right.
That's right, because you're on the show. We'll pause that. We'll come back to that.
All right. Deal.
You know the deal.
Deal.
Did you win after last time you were on? That was before we got
Yeah, that
got
was
our mojo.
That
going.
was before the
deal.
mojo
Yeah.
started kicking
Okay.
in.
All right.
But,
So we'll be good this time.
The mojo is in high gear now.
How does
so
it work if they're racing each other though in the same race?
Colin runs
First and second.
Colin runs second. I'm sorry, that's the deal. And I'm sure Colin knows
Follow
that.
me anytime,
I'll be
bud.
fine with second.
Matt Shipley, Colin Shipley, good luck this summer with your racing endeavors, and again, thanks for the marketing package help there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Available for pretty much anybody, and like you said, it would work for tracks that may be looking for some sponsors as well.
Sure.
Sponsored nights, whatever. All right, back to this. All right, we're done. See you next week, 7 o'clock. Hammer Down Race Report. Thanks for listening.
Tune in next week for show number 78.
There you go.
See y'all.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.